viewers, and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm making a video which is going to be a little bit different from the usual videos that sort of showcase the strategy in more detail and the daily spends as we go along in the data collection. But this episode's going to be focusing more on the concept behind the strategy and what goes on, or what's in my thinking behind the strategy and why I think it should work in the long run. Now, this is a demo account. If you can see in the bottom left hand corner, there's a balance of 2,000 in there, but don't worry about the balance. We're only going to be using a one pound chip to demonstrate or illustrate this strategy in more detail. But the idea here is basically I'm gonna try and flip the strategy on its head, basically. And so if you've been following my videos in the past, or you've just seen one of my videos for the strategy that I've been trying to show, you would see that I basically in every spin like to bet on 35 numbers, leaving 2 out, and then the magic works by basically compounding the gains on each spin as it goes along, and realistically you then make profits in the long run by hopefully by essentially switching over your number sequence every other spin or so to kind of renew your sense of luck, really. So I wouldn't say stick on a number that, say number 15 is missing. I wouldn't stink on it for more than 3 spins, because potentially 15 could come in, because now you've just had it empty for a while. But in any case, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be flipping the strategy upside down, and instead of betting on 35 numbers and leaving 2 out, what we're going to do here is to demonstrate the strategy is to bet on 2 numbers and leave 35 out. And I'm basically doing what the bookies tell you. So that they say to you, why have anyone ever wondered why they give you a 35-to-1 return on your winnings when you bet on one number? Because they really do believe it's got a high probability of outcome of not ever coming up, or coming up at a later date when you've lost a significant amount of money. Now, we're going to test this out, and using the same sort of sequence numbers, not sequence numbers per se, but the same concept when it comes to the sequence on the normal bets. I'm going to be changing or swapping over those numbers every sort of 3 spins and see where we go. And basically the number 1, I think on the top corners where you see the numbers being displayed at the top, I think number 1 is the last number that came up. So that's where, if you keep your eyes on that, that is where we started from, and we're gonna just pick out 2 numbers and go from there. So I'm gonna start with 15 and 23, guys. Okay, so 15 and 23 for this spin. I'll undo that. 15 and 23. I'm just gonna spin that. And the idea here is to see how many times I would lose before my number actually comes up. So we started with number 1. Remember that, guys, yeah? And it was the last spin was 36. I'm gonna rebet and spin that. And that is number 9. That's the next number that came up. And now I'm just going to change the sequence a bit. 19 and 31. I'm going to go with 19 and 31. And I'm just going to spin that. Remember, guys, we started at number 1 on the top of the screen where you see the numbers. And the idea here is just to see if we can actually get a win, and how long it will take to get a win, because this is the concept, guys. If we're trying to, if the table won't allow us to win, or probability essentially wouldn't allow us to win based on the fact that we're only betting on 2 numbers out of 35, then it should definitely be working the other way around, surely, right? So that's what we're testing out here. And I'm just going to do a good few of these spins just to demonstrate what the idea of the strategy is, really. Right? And then we can go from there. But maybe at a later date, I might, if this doesn't quite explain what's going on, then I'm not sure how else to sort of explain what it is I'm trying to do. But realistically, in the long run, the idea is to get as many wins as possible to then account for the fact that you've risked so much from the get-go. So we're just going to do a few more of these spins. So if I go with 4 and 14 on this one, 4 and 14, and remember guys, we started on 1, so I've had about 6 or so spins without a win. Right, 6 or so spins without a win, and realistically that should work in the other way. If you're looking at it from that way, then it should work too. See, that's neighbors to 14. Look at that, guys. I'll do one more spin and then I'll swap it over. It might land on 14 just because I've not won any spins now. I don't know, 23. Right, I'll do one last one, and hopefully this kind of clarifies what it is I'm trying to do with the strategy that I've put out there for everyone to look at. Now the next number I'm going to go with 22. No, I'll go with 17 and 9. Right, I'll go with 17 and 9. I mean, 9's come up a few times, so I might get 9 come up this time. But guys, if this doesn't make any sense, just do leave some comments, or if you have any sort of notes towards what it is I'm trying to do here, and if you think I'm completely out of my depth and I don't understand probability or the concept behind roulette as a whole, then please do leave a comment for me to look at, and I'll surely get back to you. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please share and hit that like button for me, and thank you. Have a good day.